Expectations for Iowa and Iowa State this fall are through the roof, at least if you're going off of today's AP poll. Iowa State checks in at number 7, tying the highest ranking the Cyclones have ever received. They received a few top 5 votes as well. Iowa State opens at home against UNI on September 4th. And don't worry, Hawkeye fans, I have you covered as well. Iowa is in at number 18 in the AP poll. They'll open the slate against top 20 Indiana at home week 1. If they win that, I'd venture to guess they'd bump up to the top 15, making the Cyhawk game on September 11th the biggest in the series history. Now, some might say Iowa State is overrated. Others will say they certainly belong. Today, we caught up with the AP's Ralph Russo to talk about the Cyclones' spot in that top 10.
You got a really good quarterback in Brock Purdy. You've got weapons in Kohler and Breece Hall at running back. They always do such a phenomenal job on the defensive side with that scheme. John Heacock, the defensive coordinator there. So, listen, I think when you're a team like Iowa State, you don't recruit at the level of, the Oklahomas and Alabamas and whatnot. So I think your margin of error is probably still going to be kind of thin.
So with that in mind, barring injuries, what will make or break Iowa State this year? It has to be that defensive line. You lose 2 big pieces from a year ago, none bigger than Jaquan Bailey. He's the career sack leader at Iowa State, including 3.5 sacks against TCU last season. They also lost Latrell Bankston, who decided to transfer. That means someone will have to step in. Zach Peterson wants to be that guy.
I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of pressure. It's more trying to figure out who's going to be that elite pass rusher to complement Will. Him and Will would always go back and forth with each other, so I think that's kind of the pressure, is just finding out who's going to be that guy on third down to kind of fill his shoes almost and complement Will and his abilities.
Everywhere else on the Cyclones roster is pretty loaded with experience. That secondary is going to be tough to crack, as the safety position now has plenty of depth with the addition of Jaquan Amos out of Villanova. Again, the Cyclones open against Northern Iowa September 4th, 3:30 kickoff from Jack Trice Stadium. As for the Hawkeyes, we hit on the wide receivers on Media Day, but truthfully, the trenches are where the Hawkeyes will either win or lose this year. They have so much inexperience on both the offensive and defensive lines. Aside from Tyler Linderbaum, who is the best center in the country, mind you, there are a lot of question marks looming. Pella grad Nick DeYoung is one of those projected starters for the Hawkeyes, but again, they're just trying to build some chemistry in that offensive line.
Obviously, you're going to have a few growing pains, when you lose a few guys on the line. But, I'd say, we're a close group of guys.
Right now, it's wide open, I think, for everybody to compete. And it's pretty much the same on the defensive line. I expect Van Valkenburg, I expect Linderbaum to be in their plan, right? But after that, it's wide open.
The defensive front is another one Kirk Ferentz clearly knows will be a work in progress. The Hawkeyes have to fill the void of Chauncey Golston and Davion Nixon, who combined for 10 of the Hawkeyes' 20 sacks last season. Former Maroon John Wagner will be looked to for some production at defensive end and knows that it comes with a little bit of pressure.
You definitely feel a certain pressure just to continue to carry on the legacy, but we're building the 2021 defensive line, and we want to be as best as we can be as a group.
The Hawkeyes will be put to the test on both sides of the ball in weeks 1 and 2, with Indiana on September 4th and then Iowa State on the 11th at Jack Trice Stadium.